Following program is being brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the following program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.
Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome to the show, everyone. I hope that you had a beautiful week and that as we are coming to the end of June, my goodness, time goes so quickly. I hope that you're taking a moment to pause. I appreciate you pausing and breathing with us today. We're at that halfway point through the year. It's a great time to kind of stop and check in and see, are we moving forward on the things that we're looking to move forward on? I think it's important to stop and check in and make sure that we're doing the things that we want to do, that we're building what we want to build, that we're actually bringing forward what we're wanting to bring forward. It's so easy to get into patterns and to be an autopilot in areas of our life. And so today, we're really going to talk about how to bring all of you forward. I like forward movement. So let's bring all of you forward, not just part of you, not just one goal or idea or focus, but let's bring all of you on the journey, all of you forward. Just had an event this last weekend called Summer Star, and it was all about stepping into center stage of your life, not being just a supporting character, not treating life like it's a dress rehearsal, but like this is it. This is the show. It's live, it's real, and it matters. Every decision we make, what we say yes to, what we say no to, how we spend our time and energy absolutely matters. And so today I'm very excited to have some experts with different voices, different perspectives, different areas of wisdom to really support each and every one of you to bring more of you forward so that all of you can become all that you are meant to be. So we're in for an exciting show. I hope that you are ready to receive, but let's make sure, let's take a deep collective breath together. And as you do that, I want to remind you, it's not an accident that you're on the show today. It's not an accident that you are listening, you're dialed in, and you're ready to receive. But let's make sure our ears are open so we can really hear. Our hearts are open so we are ready to receive. And that our eyes are clear, that we can truly be open to seeing the vision that's being laid before us. I want to celebrate that you're saying yes to you, that you're willing to carve out some time in your busy life, in your busy schedule, to say yes to you and to be nourished and empowered and equipped. And I really want this show to be living and breathing for you, to help you move forward in a powerful way, but you've got to be part of it. And so make sure that you're ready to receive, that you're listening, and have created a space in you to take in the information that's being shared with you. This is where information goes from concept to reality, from dream to really moving forward in your life, is taking the information and doing something with it. And we're going to give you some great ways to do that, some practical tips and tools, and amazing information. But I also wanted to take a moment to acknowledge a man in my life. I have been taking some time every day every show during June, with it being Father's Day month, to acknowledge a man or a couple of men in my life that have impacted me in a powerful way. And I've been sharing about them and acknowledging them. And there were two people that came to my heart to share with you about today. One is my husband, Andrew. And Andrew has this amazing gift of being very present and in the moment. And for some of you that have that gift, you may not realize what an amazing gift it is, because I'm so much in the future and what I'm planning and what I'm building and where things are going that can just be completely real to me. But when I'm so focused on that, I miss what's happening today. I'm not able to connect as deeply and as powerfully. And so I really, really appreciate him in my life really reminding me and encouraging me to be fully present. So it's a real, real gift. And I invite those of you who perhaps are visionary as well, and you like to plan and look ahead, that to remember to pause and breathe. Because in that quick breath, you can start to become fully present and really take in all of the experiences and information that are being provided in the richness in the moment. And I'm very grateful to have Andrew in my life and the constant reminder and support to do that. The other individual I wanted to acknowledge is my executive producer, Robert Cellino, and I will be actually interviewing him in August, so you may want to lean into that show. Robert has an amazing heart, and what I really appreciate about him is that he held a vision for me that I could not see initially. He could see that I was called to have a talk show to be a talk show host and have a global impact. At a time where I knew I was called to a bigger impact, I knew I was called to touch people's lives, but radio wasn't even on my radar. And I'm so thankful that he could see a vision I could not see, and he reached out to me and he gave me time to process it and held that vision for me. And so both of these men that I'm acknowledging and I'm so grateful for, Andrew really keeping me fully present, fully appreciating every day that I'm in and moment to moment, and having Robert Cellino, someone holding a vision for me as I'm stepping forward and growing, and he continues to do that. And by having both of those forces in my life, it has really created an amazing balance that I'm very grateful for. So I want you to think for a moment about, are you remembering to be fully present? Are you also spending time looking ahead and what you're wanting to bring forward? Because part of bringing all of you forward is kind of knowing where you're wanting to go. It's important to have some direction and a plan. You don't want to just have movement for the sake of movement, because you don't know if it's moving you in the direction you're called to go. So let's take just a moment and think about those things. Those of you who are driving, I encourage you to stay focused, eyes on the road, alert. Those of you who are able to, I invite you to go ahead and kind of center yourself in your chair, have your feet both on the ground, fully grounded. Take a deep breath, and as you're breathing out, close your eyes. Go ahead and place one hand on your heart, one hand on your head. Let's bring all of you in, heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit. One more deep breath together. And you think about some of what I shared about being fully present, and also at the same time moving forward and looking ahead. What is it that you need today? What would serve and support you? What is it that is being called forth for just for you today to serve and support you on your journey? Take another breath and just pause and listen and feel. And you may find you're getting a picture, a feeling, a sound, a phrase. and I invite you to capture that information. Really take a moment to have some clarity on what it is that you need today. Not someday, not in the future, but really right now, what is it that you need? And be on the lookout for it. And I hope we're able to bring a piece of that to you in our time together today. So when you're ready, go ahead and open up your eyes. Come back into the room. And Robbie, I didn't know if you had something placed on your heart that you wanted to share with us and our listeners today.
Well, that was beautiful, I have to say. Thank you for that. That's wonderful to get us present and what's your intention and what do you need. What came to mind when you were talking about the men who influenced you and how grateful you are, my dad came immediately to my heart. He died a few years ago, but I don't think... I was incredibly blessed with beautiful parents and supportive family, and my dad was so devoted to being the best father and husband he could be, and that's a blessing. I mean, we were just really exposed to a lot of love, and I think more than anything, he showed us how to be of service to others. That was just a part of his daily life. He was always doing something for someone. It was a beautiful, beautiful example of love.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I love that.
Yeah.
How about you, Becky? Did you have something on your heart to share?
Absolutely, and especially with this theme being inspired by this month being Father's Day, my husband Cory came to mind. Because not only is he, a brand new father, but a business partner for me. My husband. It's just been so amazing, and he also captures that ability to both keep us inspired and looking forward, but then also in the present moment. And so I think the two men right now, the littlest one, our son Lux, and he keep me both very, very much in the present moment and also very much in the practical real world, looking forward and seeing how we can be of service. So
Beautiful.
definitely what's on my heart right now.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Cory? Did you have something on your heart?
I do. Actually, when you were speaking, I was thinking about my dad. And I always loved his patience, which is something I envy and something I'm learning. But even if he completely disagreed with me on a subject, we could have just an open conversation so that we could better understand each other. And I always have loved that about him.
Beautiful.
A compassionate, loving man.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing, my guests. I appreciate that. And listeners, you will get to know them, their background a little bit, as well as even more of their beautiful hearts as we go through our time together today. But I invite you to take a moment and pause and ask yourself the same question. Is there a male influence in your life that you want to take a moment and acknowledge this month and celebrate? You might want to take a quick note down, because it's so amazing when we can remember to reach out and actually let somebody know how they've touched our life and acknowledge that. And it gives them an amazing lift and boost and encouragement. It may need be exactly what they need today. So I invite you, not during the show, after the show, but to write that note down and make sure to reach out to them and acknowledge the impact that they've had in your life. And with that, we are going to our first commercial break. I invite you to stay in this space and really listening to what it is that you need and how your heart is being touched. And when we come back, we'll be sharing our first expert interview. Look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Are you struggling with changing or re-entering your career?
Terry Hockett, CEO of What's for Work and transitional career strategist, works with her clients to craft their personal brand, gain clarity, and create career opportunities. Terry helps her clients discover and stand in their value and learn the tools and techniques needed to successfully navigate today's changing job market. Start today with your free membership. Step powerfully into the career of your dreams. Join Terry at whatsforwork.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed that commercial break and you made some quick notes. And we are getting ready to dive right into our first guest interview. And I want to introduce this dynamic couple that just became a trio to all of you, Becky and Cory Center. And let me tell you a little bit about them individually and then as a couple. So Becky is currently working on her PhD, and she has 15 years group facilitation experience and is really gifted in leading group facilitation and compassionate communication. Cory is a philosopher and creator of Attention Training, a poet and an author. And together they are a powerful couple on a mission to help speakers be seen, heard, and felt. It is my great pleasure to welcome both of you to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad to have both of you. Now, I would love to ask you a question. I always like to start in the heart for those of you who don't know that. That's where I like to start with that connection first. So, Becky, do you mind sharing why the work that you do is so important to you on a heart level? What does it do for you personally?
For me personally, it's so magical, so special to witness someone come out of their shell and out from behind their masks and walls, and to be seen, to be heard, to be felt for who they are at their core. Because everyone has a message and, a calling, a message, and so when that can come out more and more, I get super excited to be able to be blessed to witness that.
Beautiful. Thank you. How about you, Cory? Why is it that you do what you do?
So I am really passionate about expression. I've been a musician pretty much my whole life. I've also been writing. And for me, when somebody finds their authentic expression, whether that's, speaking or through writing or whatever it happens to be, I'm excited to see people really embrace their purpose and start living it.
Thank you. What I appreciate about what both of you shared is I love, just as an outsider, seeing that what you do on a day-to-day basis feeds both of you and excites you in slightly different ways, and the parts of it are each a little bit different that serve you, but you have, in a sense, stepped into living your life on purpose where you're doing these types of things for others that also nourish and feed and excite you every day. What an amazing life. I love that you guys have built that. Thank you. And I know that you took a moment earlier, both of you, to acknowledge male influence in your life. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity, if there was a little bit more either of you wanted to share in that area, or if you feel complete that what was on your heart to share has been completed and acknowledged. I just wanted to open up the floor if there was more to share.
I feel like I've been blessed with so many strong males in my life. And so when picking just one or two I was really blessed that I felt challenged by that. And like the two most closest to me, like in proximity right now, came to mind first. But I really feel blessed to, from, fathers and brothers and grandparents to even some of the powerful male friends I've had. I just feel very fortunate. I think it's given me an opportunity to understand the masculine in its many, many different variations. And I feel really fortunate in that, especially with the work that we do.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Cory, did you have anything to add, or do you feel complete?
I had a couple of friends that I really appreciate. My friend John Fitzgerald, he shows the possibility of how a man can still be very much in the masculine and very sensitive, which is a reflection of me, and I really appreciate it for that. And I didn't take a minute earlier, but I want to say thank you to Becky for the acknowledgement. I don't always see those things in myself, so it's nice to be acknowledged.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wonderful. And I was inviting everyone to breathe that in. I think it's so often we don't share how much we're touched by others. And then, Cory, I think that was a beautiful example of receiving and acknowledging the acknowledgement. So thank you. That was beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Now I know, that's our third, our third edition.
Yep, he's hanging out with us.
Wonderful. Now, I know that both of you do a lot of work around the voice and really help people in expression and connection. And how does volume, because that's an aspect of voice, how does volume relate to being in the center stage of your life?
So volume is a funny thing. It actually doesn't have as much to do with taking center stage. And I say that because often when people get loud, they have less to say. They get loud because they're not expressing themselves in the way that they want to. They're not being heard. They're not really being understood. So they get loud because they get frustrated.
Interesting.
Now, on the other, you need to be able to be loud enough to be heard at the same time. So it's kind of a fine balance there.
Great. I think that's a really interesting thing to think about. I'm just thinking back on communication that I've had with people. And you're right. When someone's not hearing you, we can get just we might say the same words because we don't know a different way to say it. But we'll say it a little bit more loudly with a little more pause in between. So that's a great thing to be thinking about, and the balance between being loud enough to be heard but not so loud that you're not. Would you say it even hurts communication, or it takes you away from center stage? Just curious about that.
Absolutely. I'd say it often can shut down communication, because often people will go on the defensive on the other side of that. And as soon as there is defense, there's no communication that can be had.
Yep, makes sense. And I know I don't like being yelled at, so I can understand that. Perfect. So why is voice so crucial to taking center stage in our life and really moving all of us forward?
Well, your voice is so much more than just the sound coming out of your mouth, and that's definitely a major component. But your voice is really the carrier of your message, the carrier of your intent, and it can come out in so many different ways. And if you really are in a place of wanting to take center stage, or even being guided to take it, because sometimes we're not the ones being like, I want to be center stage, but sometimes it's like others calling us into that spotlight. And if we're not being able to allow our message to come through, there's no really way of, we may be a spectacle, something to look at, but there's not really a taking of the center stage. It's just kind of being an object to be gazed upon.
Thank you. I really, really like how you're expressing this, Becky, that the voice is the carrier, and acknowledging that a lot of people that are called to center stage, it's not because they want to be there in the center, everyone look at me. It's because they're feeling a call to serve in that place. I think that's really, really beautiful. And do you have a tip? I'm going a little off script here, but a tip that you might bring forward about how to have the voice be an effective carrier of your message?
Such a major part is just using the voice, and especially in very playful ways, so that when we show up and we're perhaps in a more serious space, that there's still an authenticity that comes through to our core. So one thing that even Cory and I do on a regular basis is we'll make up songs together without even words, without even intention. He'll drum, and I'll just make sounds, and it's a way of being very playful, but it's a practice where you can access, deeper and deeper layers of your own authentic and embodied voice. And it doesn't have to be like this serious, rigorous practice. It's great for doing in the car or even backstage or before a date, just something, playful and a little bit silly.
I love that. And what connection when you can play and create together. I love it. Thank you. And I know that you have put together an amazing gift. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that gift for our listeners today?
Yeah, absolutely. So the gift that we put together is the Embodied Voice ebook. Mm-hmm. And it really takes you into the three realms of your purpose, which are being seen, being heard, and being felt. That's really our mission, for people to be seen, heard, felt for who they truly are. Your message matters, your voice matters. Wonderful. There are a lot of practices as you go through this ebook that will help you as you step onto your purpose and answer your calling.
Beautiful. And listeners, I really want you to lean into this opportunity. When you can get a tool that you can start applying some of these principles in your life immediately, that's powerful. So I really invite you to lean into the book. I like that it's interactive like that. So thank you, Becky and Cory, for making a valuable tool like that available to all of our listeners. And listeners, I will let you know at the end of the show how to access this amazing gift, as well as the one our next guest also has made available. So make sure that you stay with us to the end. And then, Becky and Cory, I had one more question, and I'm hoping you're able to answer it in about a minute. And this is, what does it mean to be heard? That's something that I know is really important to you, and part of that's in the ebook. But how do you describe what it means to be heard?
It's really about being understood at such a deep level that there's a deep connection and understanding, not just that you understand there's words coming out of someone's mouth, but there's an understanding of and a witnessing of another human being at their core.
Beautiful. And how would someone know they were heard? I mean, are there indicators or things they could see?
One thing that I always suggest for people, this is in the ebook too as a practice, is to ask for reflection. Because if you and I are in conversation and I ask, do you understand me? And you say yes, that doesn't tell me that you got my meaning. But if you reflect back what I've said to you, or I make that request of you, you can tell me what you've understood from what I've said. Then I can clarify if I didn't get my meaning across.
Perfect. Thank you. I really appreciate the practical tool, because I think it's helpful to have ways to apply what we're learning today. So thank you so much, Becky and Cory. I really appreciate your wisdom and your tips and your shares and insights today, and the amazing ebook you're making available to all of us. And as we're going to our our second commercial break today, listeners, lean in and really think about communication and being heard and bringing your message and your voice forward. We'll look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Are you struggling with changing or re-entering your career? Terry Hockett, CEO of What's for Work and transitional career strategist, works with her clients to craft their personal brand, gain clarity, and create career opportunities. Terry helps her clients discover and stand in their value and learn the tools and techniques needed to successfully navigate today's changing job market. Start today with your free membership. Step powerfully into the career of your dreams. Join Terry at whatsforwork.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that commercial break and got to move around a little bit. If you didn't, I encourage you during our next commercial break to just do a quick stretch. It's always a good idea to keep a little bit of movement when you're learning and bringing in information. So it helps you process it on another level and stay present and focused. So our next amazing guest is Robbie Holz. She is an international speaker, a holistic consultant, award-winning author, and she specializes in using Aboriginal principles. She actually used them to heal herself of hepatitis C and fibromyalgia, and her story and the story of her husband is just amazing. I've had the opportunity to receive her books and have been reading them, and they really shift and change how you think about your body, how you think about health, and how we have so much more information available within ourselves, I think, than we realize, and powers to heal ourselves. And I don't want to give away too much more. So I will let Robbie share from her perspective. But Robbie, I want to officially welcome you to the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Now, can I ask you the why question, just like I asked Becky and Cory? I'd love to know why this work personally is so important to you.
Well, I was in a pretty desperate situation. When I delivered my son 30 years ago, I was given a blood transfusion with hepatitis C, and I almost died from the hepatitis, and then I almost died from the experimental treatment they put me on. So I was on a quest to find answers to stay alive, and Western medicine didn't have anything for me. And the Aboriginal healing principles are very powerful, natural principles to heal. And I have since healed what the doctor said was incurable. And I don't have hepatitis C. I don't have fibromyalgia. I don't have brain-induced problems anymore. And so it really kind of opened up this path of, I want to help other people learn how to heal as well, that they can do it. They just don't know how. And that's really what brought me here.
Wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that. And before we get too deep into the conversation, I wanted to give you the same opportunity that I gave our other guests, is if there was an additional comment you wanted to make about a male influence in your life, someone that you wanted to acknowledge, I wanted to give you that opportunity. Or if you feel complete, you can just let me know that as well.
Well, there's like Becky, I had so many. It's just, okay, how do I narrow it down? I mean, my late husband was phenomenal. He opened me up to the healing realms and what's possible. And my son, who just came in very awakened and teaches me so much every day about, what I'm eating and what is happening to the earth. And then now my new little grandson, who's teaching me about the awe and wonder of everything. So, yeah, I could go on and on.
Beautiful. And do you mind if I ask you a question a little bit off script here? Do I have your permission to do that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Ask away.
Okay, good. You mentioned your husband, Gary, and I know that he's some of the journey that he went on is where the start of this Aboriginal healing and learning really began. Did you want us to tell us just a little bit about him or provide a context around that for us?
Well, he was kind of in some ways the same boat as I was. This is before I met him in '94. He was a physicist. He was an inventor, a very brilliant scientific mind. But he had developed multiple sclerosis, and he was actually a quadriplegic for at least 7 years. And the doctors told him that he didn't have much time left. And so, again, Western medicine didn't have anything for him, and he discovered that the Aborigines in the Outback had remarkable healing gifts. And so when he went into the Outback, he was just trying to stay alive for his 2 children. It's amazing how those little ones can be high motivators. And so in 10 days' time with this remote tribe, he regained feeling in his body, which he hadn't had in 7 years, and clumsily walked down that airplane on the way back, a totally transformed man. And the Aboriginals had given their healing wisdom, their healing secrets to him because they said, we really don't know how healing works, and they wanted to help. And so they gave it to this man so that he could take it out into the world, and that's what he's done, and that's what I've done, is helping people recognize that they have the ability to heal, the body wants to heal, and how they've been blocking that healing.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I know I've been reading that book, the book of his story of going back into the Outback and some of his journey in that. And one of the things that really struck me was that they knew he was coming. And they had been prepared, that they were waiting for this man from the Western world to come to be the person to share these secrets and bring them out into the world. And just as I'm reflecting on this and thinking about our show today, about bringing all of us forward, and all of us meaning as a human race, bringing all of us forward, but also all the parts of us forward. And I think it's really a beautiful reminder that we are not on a solo journey. We are not on this planet alone, and that we have the opportunity to impact one another. And to remind all of you today, it's not an accident that you're listening to the show right now. That there is something, this is a living, breathing experience that we're having with you to serve and support you. So I know there's something amazing for you on this call today, that it is prepared for you. So I felt that all tied together so beautifully, and that the voice, Becky, you were talking about that, and Cory, the expression of it, is the way that we can bring a lot of this information forward. So really open up those ears to hear exactly what it is that you are called to bring forward, and don't shy away from the message. You're a messenger of what you get to bring forward in your life and those around you. So, Robbie, thank you for sharing and expanding on that a little bit. Do you mind telling us a little bit about the secrets of Aboriginal healing?
Well, and that's why the book Secrets of Aboriginal Healing beautifully gives you those steps so that anybody can take it into their life. They don't have to go into the Outback. But I think what's really important is to pay attention to what's playing in the background. We're very conscious of what we're eating and that we're eating healthy, and we need to be paying attention to, are you creating healthy thoughts? Because different thoughts and emotions have a different effect on the body. And one of the most healing emotions is gratitude. And one of the most toxic emotions on to the body can be guilt. So you just have to pay attention to, is it heart-centered or is it really mind-centered, which is very fear-based. That's just a quick little tip right there.
Beautiful. Thank you. Now, according to the Aboriginal people, because that's where this came from, what is the source of disease? What's the cause? What's the source? Well,
that the mind is a tremendously powerful tool, and there's nothing more powerful than a focused mind, but unfortunately for a lot of us, it's just on autopilot. We don't even realize what we're creating, and especially in our culture, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of stress, and that's in it's in the cells. It creates a different type of cell. So one of the things that the Aborigines wanted us to understand, because this is why they gave us their healing techniques, is you guys really don't understand how healing works. It's a body, mind, spirit. They're all aligned. You can't separate them. And you've got to get to the emotional core. There's always an emotional root to everything. And if you don't, they say it's like picking the top of a dandelion. It's just going to go right back again. And that's why we know people who have had tumors removed, they come back again. They haven't changed the emotional root, the emotional core. And so that's why, for instance, we tend to hold grief in our chest area. And if you have breast cancer or heart problems, you have to pay attention to, am I holding a lot of emotion there that's blocking life force, that's slowing down chakras, that's, not getting healthy nutrients out into that area? You can be setting yourself up for creating disease. That's why you need to pay attention to that. What am I holding on to, and what am I creating? Is it healthy, or is it very toxic and negative on the body?
Beautiful. Thank you. And this, listeners, I just really want to encourage you to remember to pause and breathe and be present, because our minds are so powerful and they're creating, and it's good to know what they're creating, to pay attention to it. And if you are creating some of those toxic things, really trying to get to the root and release that and create things with gratitude and healing. So thank you so much, Robbie, for sharing. I appreciate the conviction and the authority in which you speak about this, and the valuable information that you're providing to us. Is there one thing that you would like to have our listeners take away from our time together today, that if there's one thing, one core thing that you want to teach them about Aboriginal teaching?
Well, I think that the Aborigines and a lot of these indigenous cultures, what they have always maintained is a really strong connection to Mother Earth. They know that we're connected. They know that she loves us tremendously. They know that she's constantly giving, and that we have been doing a lot of taking. And I love how even the Native Americans will look at the river as their brother. It's with much more love and respect. They've never lost that connection. And I think that would be something that it's really important for our survival, is to wake up to this beautiful planet that we live on and recognize, how can I give back? What can I even just send gratitude? Yeah, that's an important thing to do. It's not just about continuing to take.
Beautiful. And we are all truly connected, so on all levels. Thank you. Thank you. And I know that you've put together an amazing gift, and are you able to share about it with us in just about a minute?
Sure.
Great.
I've created and I know people have busy lives, so I've created, it's about a 10-minute, very simple but effective meditation on abundance. And they can download that free meditation and create abundance in their life. And you can also use it for anything. You can substitute that for health or relationship or something that you want to create. It's the same basic outline. So that's available to people, that they're free to download anytime they want.
Beautiful. Thank you. So listeners, again, this is a great tool to support you in bringing abundance, or whatever it is that you're wanting to bring more of in your life. And I really appreciate, Robbie, you making that available to give them something today they can bring into their life and start using. So really, really amazing gift. Is there anything else that is on your heart to share? We do have about 30 more seconds, and I wanted to open up the floor if there was something else that has come to your mind or heart to empower us with today.
I think pay attention to what the mind is telling you, and recognize that sometimes it's not necessarily the heart's voice. It's a very scared mind, or it may be the collective's voice. But to just not let that run on autopilot, creating problems in the background, because whatever you're focusing on is what you're creating. So more consciously become more aware. I love how you've been teaching the whole last hour. Be present. Really don't let that mind just take you and have its way with you, going off into the past or future, but being present. Very powerful tip that you gave us today. Thank you, Rebecca.
Oh, thank you, Robbie. Thank you. And listeners, we are getting ready to go into our next commercial break. So make sure to be present, move around a little bit, and when you come back for our exciting conclusion, we will let you know how to find these amazing gifts and share one more great tip or insight to serve you on your journey. We look forward to talking to you in just a moment.
Your favorite Voice America Talk Radio Network shows and hosts are in your car, outdoors, and wherever you need them to be. Listen anywhere. Get our mobile app for iPhone, BlackBerry, or Android at the Apple iTunes App Store, BlackBerry App World, or Android Market.
Are you struggling with changing or re-entering your career? Terry Hockett, CEO of What's for Work and transitional career strategist, works with her clients to craft their personal brand, gain clarity, and create career opportunities. Terry helps her clients discover and stand in their value and learn the tools and techniques needed to successfully navigate today's changing job market. Start today with your free membership. Step powerfully into the career of your dreams. Join Terry at whatsforwork.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for people like you. With just one 7-minute audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities. This is a dynamic way to share your message, reach more people, and expand your impact. Apply now at yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent. Finalists get to audition live in front of community leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Don't wait. Find out more. Visit yourpurposedrivenpractice.net/speaker-talent.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-866-613-1612. That's 1-866-613-1612. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had opportunity to move a little bit, that during that first break, you did take a moment to think about someone that you wanted to acknowledge today. And again, we're focused on acknowledging male influences in our life and honors of Father's Day. So I hope you were able to do that. And then you also really leaned into what your intention is, what it is that you need or that will support you on your journey, help bring forward you more fully to be in the center stage of your life, not just a supporting character, but really stepping fully into your life, fully forward. And we've discussed in different voices and different perspectives about balancing being fully present with where you're looking to go. And that some of the keys to really connecting powerfully with your voice, to really connecting with the internal dialogue and with your own healing involves being fully present. And you can do that with each and every breath that you take by really becoming fully present. And I promised throughout the show that I would let you know how to access these amazing gifts that my guests have made available to you. And let me remind you why I do this and why I ask them to give gifts. It's voluntary and they always say yes, which I so appreciate. It's because I want you to have practical tools when this show is over that you can carry forward the information, that it can bring transformation into your life. I don't want it to just be information. I want it to become a living, breathing part of your body and your spirit and your soul and your message and who you are on a cellular level and a spirit level. So that's why we have these gifts. But you have the opportunity to say yes or no. You get to step into that leadership position, that place of empowerment, and say, yes, this is a gift that will serve me. So if you're leaning in and saying yes, let me let you know how to access them. You simply go to radiogifts.net. That's plural because there are multiple gifts. So radiogifts.net. and you'll see a number of gifts from me as well as from my amazing guests. So I invite you to lean in, say yes, and really get these tools to serve and support you. The ebook that Becky and Cory have made available to you, the powerful meditation that Robbie's made available to you. And as an extra credit bonus treat, an opportunity, I did ask my guests to share one more tip, idea, or suggestion with you today. Just one last thing that came to their heart they wanted to make sure they equipped and empowered you with today to bring all of you forward. So Robbie, do you have something you wanted to share with our listeners?
Thank you. I think what's important for the listeners to understand is that their bodies do not need to be ill. This is a challenge that a lot of them have taken on. It's not really part of their soul's journey. It wasn't really necessary. It's just that their bodies are simply crumbling under the emotional weight of their minds. So I want them to know that there's hope, and even if Western medicine doesn't have any answers for you, there are lots of answers out there. So just be tenacious in finding answers to your health. The body knows how to heal itself. Everything you need to know is within you, so just access it.
Beautiful. Thank you. And I think that hope is so important. So I appreciate you bringing that to our attention and to our presence here today, is to keep that hope and the tenacious, that persistence as well. So thank you, Robbie. Thank you. And Becky, did you or Cory or both have something you wanted to share with us today?
Absolutely. And when we think of like both being in the body as well as taking center stage, something that comes to mind is the origin of the word persona or personality, which meant to speak through the mask. But anymore, I think that we don't have to wear the masks anymore and have our voice be distorted. Like, our stage now is free from the masks. And so a tip that you can do like immediately is the way of taking off the mask. And we store so much tension in the body at the level of the jaw. And so you can just take your fingers and massage in that big masseter muscle before you have something big to share, whether it's a presentation, working with a client or a loved one, and just take a moment to really massage into those big jaw muscles, even make some sound while you're doing it. That release will allow the mask to come off and more connection to be there when you speak.
Beautiful. Thank you. I was starting to do that as you did it, but I avoided the sound part just because I didn't want to interrupt. So thank you. Beautiful, beautiful tip. And Cory, did you have something to share, or do you feel complete?
I was going to add on to that.
Yes.
It's just for those of you that are not super familiar with anatomy. Put your finger on your earlobe and trace it over on your face until you will feel where it gets center, kind of where your jaw connects to your skull. But it's pretty much from your earlobe, go straight over and start massaging right there.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very practical tip. Great. I was reflecting back on our show today and the time together, and I was thinking about my event this past weekend, and here's just another tip I think we can share with you from that. And I had talked about, I have several cats, and one of them her name is Nina, and she makes an entrance everywhere she goes. I think it's so funny. My other cats don't do this, but Nina, she walks into a room and she waits at the door and like has her tail up, and she has this whole presence like, ta-da, I have arrived. And she just waits for people to notice her. And if they don't, she'll go over closer and do it again. And then once they notice her, she's fine and she kind of goes about her life. And I think it's such a funny thing, this ta-da, she just fully shows up. And so I decided to experiment with this a little bit. My husband, again, is very present and he's very patient. He doesn't always know what I'm going to come downstairs. My office is upstairs and be thinking of or doing or whatever. And so I started doing that. I would start to enter a room, or I'd wake up in the morning and go, ta-da! I've arrived, and I'd wait for him to notice me, or I'd say, don't I look cute, or whatever. And it was a playful, silly thing to do, but it really helped me be present, and it brought that fun and playful energy, kind of like what Becky and Cory were talking about earlier. And I shared this at the event this weekend, and it was really funny to see how it became contagious. And throughout the day, people who are a little tentative about stepping into center stage or didn't quite know what to do when you got there, now they knew what to do. And they would pose and they would say ta-da. And it's actually very contagious. My husband now, every once in a while, will do the same thing now when he enters a room or he's joking around. And it's a great way to playfully connect, engage, and take center stage. And so I encourage you to bring the ta-da power into your life and into your connections. And here's the thing about taking center stage. Here's a myth I think people have out there. It's a star can shine really brightly and it doesn't take away from the other stars. There are billions of stars out there all shining brightly and beautifully in their own way. And there's still room for more. So I want to encourage you to really show up fully in your life, fully present now. Bring some playful energy in. Be very aware of the thoughts that you're building, of the life that you're living, of what you're choosing. Know that you are enough. You already have everything you need within you that is being called forth to share with all of those around you. And then be willing. Be willing to say yes to bringing your message and yourself forward. I want to thank each of my guests today who said yes. They were willing to share their message, their wisdom, their tips, and their insights with you. And I want to thank you listeners for saying yes to leaning in and being part of our show. And I invite you to keep saying yes and keep bringing all of you forward. It absolutely matters. You are beautifully and wonderfully made on purpose and for a purpose. And I look forward to talking to you next week, but here's what I want you to take forward. May you always, always bloom where you're planted and shine. Talk to you next week.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Pacific on the Voice America Women's Channel. And join us for a replay of the show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.
Thanks again for listening to the preceding program, brought to you on the Voice America Women's Channel. For more information about our network and to check out additional show hosts and topics of interest, please visit voiceamericawomen.com. The Voice America Talk Radio Network is the worldwide leader in live Internet talk radio. Visit voiceamerica.com. The views and ideas expressed on the preceding program are strictly those of the host or guests and do not necessarily reflect the views and ideas held by the Voice America Talk Radio Network, its staff, and management.